What's going on YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, definitely share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. For most adults around the world, one thing for sure, everybody know they have to get up every day and do is find a way to make a living or go to work. For majority, it's going to a job, punching a time clock, and we all know a lot comes with working them 8 to 12 hours a day, trying to bring home a check every week or every 2 weeks. From co-workers that come in every day with attitudes or being extra, whether it's something about the job or just their personality. In some places, it's the work itself. A lot of people work at billion-dollar companies, bust their tails all day just to get paid, look at their paycheck, and have barely enough to survive. Then you have the supervisors or bosses, the people who control the floor or your branch. You have good bosses who have worked their way up from the bottom. They understand the job, are not on a power trip, and respect their employees. On the other side of that are the bosses who use their position of power to belittle people, play with their livelihood, letting individuals know I can fire you at any given time. But all that comes with being a working man or woman. Most of the time, as long as our paychecks are right, everything else is for the birds. But for many people, it's the everyday pressures of life. Paying bills, buying food, taking care of kids if you have them, keeping a job while trying to maintain your sanity. That can lead to misplaced anger and frustration. As we all know, pressure busts pipes and can be a recipe for disaster. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Houston, Texas, to discuss the case of a man who snapped at work and took out his frustrations on his boss in the worst way. Back in 2022, 48-year-old Duran Kelly had made a good life for himself in Texas. The family man was married, had 2 daughters, and considered his father and loved ones his best friends. Coming from a tight-knit family, it was never a boring day. Whether teaching his daughter how to drive, taking his nieces and nephews out, or having date nights with his wife. Duran had what most people would consider a fulfilled life. Also the American dream, being a supervisor at a big tech company called Cedar Gate Technologies, located in Greenway Plaza in Houston, Texas. He had been there for years and worked his way up in the company. Duran had been working from home after the pandemic hit in 2020, but would start back going to the office from time to time, now that things were calming down. One of his employees was a 26-year-old man named Montavious Wright. Montavious had been working at the company for 2 years, stated to be a pretty well-rounded, laid-back young man that got along with co-workers, and outside of the job, his neighbors loved him at his nice apartment building in downtown Houston. It seemed the young man was destined for success, with Duran being his supervisor. He would correct Montavious if the work wasn't right or if he wasn't meeting the deadlines. Typical work stuff, but it wasn't a big deal, and the 2 men never even had words, according to co-workers. So what happened on March 16th, 2022 caught everybody by surprise. It was a typical work day. Duran was excited, as him and his family were planning to go to a rodeo later that night. But at first, he had some things to take care of at the office. He went in, greeted everybody, and got to work in his cubicle. Around about lunchtime, Montavious walked in. He spoke to everybody as well, walked towards Duran's desk, and seconds later, shots went off, and co-workers saw him flee the building. Houston police received a call of an active shooter, so they responded to the building with SWAT and multiple units. After entering the building, they found Duran suffering from a gunshot wound to the head, and unfortunately, the man would be pronounced gone on the scene. One person told police it was one of his co-workers, Montavious. He stated he felt like it was a targeted attack because he walked right past everybody else and shot Duran. It wouldn't take long before police tracked down Montavious to his apartment complex. Neighbors were in shock to see the nice young man being taken into custody for the murder of his boss. He refused to make a statement or give a motive. Doran's family were devastated. They spoke out on how he was a family man devoted to his wife and kids. He wasn't a violent man at all and only was doing his job. Everybody stated they loved Doran as a boss and there wasn't any problems at the office. At his first court date, Montavious' family showed up. His lawyer stated he should be perceived innocent until proven otherwise, just like everyone else, despite the case being so high profile, and that he should be given a reasonable bail. At first, the young man was given a $500,000 bond, but at his next bail hearing, his mother pleaded with the courtroom. She told the judge he wasn't a bad kid and she couldn't afford the bail, but if it was cut in half, she could pay the 10% and bail the young man out. Surprisingly, the judge went for it, and after taking his boss's life, Montavious was able to make bail and was back on the streets, even though with strict conditions. But not long after, he would violate the terms and catch a new charge and will be taken back into custody. The last update on Montavious was in 2023, when at the Harris County Jail, somehow he found and slipped on some street clothes, waited by the door at the processing center, and when it opened, he tried to escape, but it closed and locked the young man in, leading to him catching a new charge. But there's no updates on the first-degree hit charge, and the case hasn't made its way to court yet. Rest in peace to Doran. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I don't know if it was a personal issue between the two men or if Montavious just had a lot going on mentally. It was in a pandemic. People's mental states were slipping, and if he felt like his job was in jeopardy, he could have just snapped. But as of now, he never stated a reason. But it had to be something deep in his mind to go to your job at a busy building, broad daylight, and take your supervisor's life. I'm sure we have all worked with people we didn't get along with, or even had bosses we wasn't feeling. Some people will tolerate it, might even start looking for another job, but it usually doesn't go this far or get this serious. That's the thing though about life. You never know what the next man or woman is going through, what will make them snap, or how far they are willing to go. Have you yourself ever worked with somebody and felt they was on this type of time or had that energy about them, and you felt at any given time the wrong conversation, they could snap? Or have you ever been the one that felt that way about work, a co-worker or a boss? Let me know in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that man. I definitely send my prayers to his family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's your boy Tony 2 times. It's another episode of Hood Tales. I'm out.